The sun had just dipped behind the rolling hills, painting the sky in soft shades of orange and pink. Anna sat quietly in the back of the wooden carriage, her hands folded neatly on her lap. Her heart raced with a mixture of excitement and nervousness. Today was her wedding day, the day she had dreamed about since she was a little girl. But now that it had come, the reality felt heavier than she had imagined. The small countryside church had been filled with smiles, flowers, and the gentle hum of music. Anna remembered walking down the aisle, her fingers trembling as she held the delicate bouquet of white daisies. She had caught sight of Jack waiting at the altar, a tall, strong man with gentle eyes and a quiet confidence that made her feel both safe and shy. His presence had calmed her during the ceremony, and yet, as she thought about the night ahead, a shiver of uncertainty ran down her spine. The carriage jolted slightly as it traveled over the uneven dirt road, and Anna pressed her palms together to steady herself. She watched the hills roll by, the fields of golden wheat swaying in the evening breeze. Everything around her seemed calm and peaceful, but inside her mind was a whirlwind of thoughts. She wondered if she would be able to meet the expectations of being a wife, if she could be brave enough to face the closeness she had only imagined in dreams. Jack had arranged a small cabin near the edge of the woods for their first night together. It was simple, with wooden walls, a stone fireplace, and a small bed covered with a quilt that smelled faintly of lavender. Anna had admired the cabin when they arrived. It was cozy and welcoming. But the thought of spending a whole night alone with Jack, away from the familiarity of her parents' home, made her stomach twist. When Jack helped her out of the carriage, she felt her knees wobble slightly. He noticed immediately and took her hand in his grip firm but gentle. "You're okay," he said softly, his voice calm like the river that ran near the fields. "I'll be right here." Anna looked up at him, his face glowing in the soft evening light. There was no rush in his expression, no impatience, just understanding. That small gesture, his presence and patience, made her heart flutter. She nodded quietly, feeling a mixture of relief and nervous anticipation. The cabin door creaked as they stepped inside. The interior smelled faintly of pine and fresh flowers. A small fire crackled in the fireplace, sending warmth and soft shadows across the wooden walls. Jack motioned for Anna to sit on the edge of the bed while he checked the room, making sure everything was comfortable. Anna's hands twisted the edge of her dress, her mind a storm of worries. She whispered to herself, "It's my first night. I don't know if I'm ready." Her voice was soft, barely audible, as if saying it aloud would make her fear even stronger. Jack turned back to her and knelt down so their eyes met. "Anna," he said gently, "you don't have to do anything you're not ready for. Tonight is about us being together, being close and learning to trust each other. We'll take it slow and I'll be gentle." Hearing those words, Anna felt a small wave of relief wash over her. Jack's kindness made the cabin feel less like a place of anxiety, and more like a safe space where she could be herself. She took a deep breath, trying to calm the rapid beating of her heart. Jack placed a small tray on the table with a cup of warm milk and a few biscuits. "Eat something," he suggested with a reassuring smile. "It will help you relax." Anna nodded, feeling grateful for the simple gesture. She sipped the milk slowly, the warmth spreading through her, and for the first time since the wedding, she felt a small sense of peace. They talked quietly about the day, about the ceremony, the smiles of family and friends, and the little moments that had made it special. Jack listened attentively, his hand occasionally brushing hers in a gentle, comforting way. Anna found herself laughing softly at his stories, feeling the tension in her shoulders ease. After a while, the fire began to burn lower, casting a soft orange glow across the room. The quiet outside was almost magical, with the gentle rustle of leaves and the distant call of an owl. Anna sat on the edge of the bed, her hands folded in her lap, feeling the nervous excitement return. She glanced at Jack, who was kneeling nearby, folding a blanket neatly. I don't know what to do next," she whispered, her voice trembling slightly. "Everything feels so new." Jack stood and walked over to her, placing a comforting hand on her shoulder. "Anna, it's okay. You don't have to know. All you need to do is trust me. Tonight is just about being close, holding hands, and learning about each other. Nothing else." His words were like a soft breeze calming a storm. Anna nodded again, feeling the warmth of his hand and the steadiness of his presence. She realized that she didn't have to be perfect. She just had to be herself, and Jack would be there to guide her gently. The night deepened, and the soft glow of the fire made shadows dance across the cabin walls. Anna leaned back slightly, her head resting against the pillows, feeling the tension in her body slowly loosen. Jack sat beside her, their hands brushing occasionally, each touch careful and respectful. For the first time since the wedding, Anna felt a small sense of courage. She realized that being close to Jack didn't have to be scary. She could take things one step at a time, and he would be patient with her. The cabin, the fire, the gentle words, it all came together to make her feel safe. As she closed her eyes for a moment, Anna whispered softly, "I think I can do this with him." Jack squeezed her hand gently, a silent promise of patience and care. The night was just beginning, but already the fear that had gripped her heart seemed smaller. The warmth of the cabin, the quiet of the woods, and Jack's gentle presence made the first night feel like the beginning of something beautiful. A night of trust, care, and the slow blossoming of love. The fire crackled softly in the corner of the cabin, sending warm light dancing across the wooden walls. Outside, the wind whispered through the trees, and the distant sounds of the countryside at night added a calm, quiet rhythm to the evening. Inside, Anna sat on the edge of the bed, her fingers intertwined, her gaze fixed on the floor. She felt a mixture of nervousness and curiosity about the night ahead. Every small movement seemed louder than it should be, and every shadow felt like it was moving closer. Jack noticed her hesitation immediately. He sat beside her slowly, careful not to rush, letting the soft glow of the fire illuminate his gentle expression. "Anna," he said softly, "you don't need to hide how you feel. You can tell me anything." Anna swallowed hard. Her heart was racing, and she felt her cheeks flush. She had been carrying these feelings of worry and shyness for a long time, but speaking them aloud to Jack felt like stepping into unknown territory. Still, the calm, patient look in his eyes encouraged her to speak. She took a deep breath and whispered, "It hurts. It's my first night. I don't know what to do, and I'm afraid I might make mistakes." Jack nodded, listening carefully. He didn't interrupt or rush her. He understood that trust and comfort were more important than any action or expectation. "Anna," he said softly, taking her hand in his, "thank you for telling me. I want you to know that it's okay to feel nervous. Everyone feels that way the first time. We don't have to do anything you're not ready for." Hearing his words, Anna felt a small wave of relief. For the first time that evening, she felt that someone truly understood her feelings. The fear that had been twisting in her stomach began to ease slightly, replaced by a quiet sense of comfort. She looked up at him, her eyes shining with both uncertainty and hope. I've always been shy," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "I've never been close to anyone like this before, and now I feel scared, but I also want to be with you." Her fingers tightened slightly around his hand as she spoke. Jack gave her a reassuring smile. "Anna, that's perfectly fine. There's no rush. Tonight isn't about doing everything right or following rules. It's about being together, learning to trust each other, and feeling safe. We'll take it slow. I'll be gentle, and I'll make sure you're comfortable every step of the way." Anna nodded, trying to imagine what he meant by slow and gentle. The words made her feel safer, but they also left her wondering what it truly meant to trust someone so deeply. Jack seemed to understand her thoughts without her saying them. He squeezed her hand softly, letting her know that he would wait until she was ready. For a few moments they sat in quiet companionship, listening to the fire and the soft sounds of the night. Anna felt her mind begin to wander, thinking about the small gestures that had made her feel comfortable with Jack so far. The way he had held her hand, the patience in his voice, and the way he had smiled at her without judgment. Each memory made her heart feel lighter, and the fear slowly began to feel less powerful. I'm afraid of hurting myself or making things awkward," Anna confessed, her voice trembling slightly. "I've never been this close to someone before. I want to be brave, but I don't know if I can." Jack gently lifted her hand to his lips and kissed it softly. "Anna, being brave doesn't mean you have to know everything or do everything perfectly. Being brave means trusting someone enough to let them be there for you. And I'll be here for you always." Anna felt warmth spread through her chest. His words were simple, but they carried a deep promise. She realized that the night wasn't about fear or pressure. It was about learning to trust, about letting someone in slowly and safely. Jack suggested they try something small together. Why don't we just sit here, hold hands, and talk? We can learn about each other's thoughts, dreams, and memories. There's no need to rush into anything else, Anna agreed. She felt a small smile tug at her lips. For the first time since the wedding, she felt a genuine sense of calm. They spent the next few minutes sharing stories from their childhood, laughing softly at the funny memories and comforting each other with tales of times they had felt scared or unsure. Jack told her about growing up on the farm, about learning to ride horses, and about the first time he had felt nervous around someone he cared for. Anna shared her own memories of school, her favorite books, and the moments when she had felt shy but had managed to be brave. As they talked, Anna realized something important. Being close to someone didn't mean being perfect or knowing everything. It meant sharing fears, listening, and caring for each other. The small gestures, the touch of a hand, the patient listening, the quiet encouragement were what truly mattered. After a while, Jack suggested they try a simple exercise. "Let's just sit closer slowly," he said softly. "No pressure, just a little closer so you can feel that you're safe with me." Anna nodded, her heart beating faster. She moved slightly toward him and he mirrored her, giving her plenty of space and letting her set the pace. She felt the warmth of his presence, the steady calm of his breathing, and the gentle reassurance in his voice. Every small step helped her feel more confident, more trusting. I think I can do this," Anna whispered, her voice full of quiet determination. "As long as we go slowly." Jack smiled and nodded. "Exactly. We'll go as slowly as you need. And tonight is just the beginning of learning to trust each other. There's no rush." The fire continued to burn low, casting a soft glow across the cabin. Anna rested her head on the pillow, feeling a sense of calm she hadn't felt before. Jack remained beside her, quietly holding her hand, ready to guide her whenever she needed. The night was still young, but for Anna, it had already become a night of courage, trust, and gentle connection. For the first time, she realized that being shy didn't mean she was weak. It meant that she had feelings that deserved to be understood and respected. And with Jack's patient, gentle care, she felt ready to face the rest of the night, one careful, comforting step at a time. As she closed her eyes, Anna whispered softly, "Thank you for being gentle." Jack squeezed her hand once more, a silent promise that she would never be rushed or pushed. The night was theirs to share, slowly, patiently, and with trust. And in that quiet, warm cabin, Anna felt the first real sense of peace since the wedding. Peace that came from knowing that she was safe, cared for, and truly understood. Part 3. The Gentle Approach. The cabin was quiet except for the soft crackle of the fire. Outside, the night air was cool, carrying the faint scent of pine and fresh earth. Anna sat on the edge of the bed, her hands still entwined with Jack's. She felt calmer than before, though her heart still fluttered nervously with each new thought about the night ahead. She looked up at Jack, who was sitting beside her, his presence steady and reassuring. I think I understand a little better now," Anna said softly. "I'm still nervous, but I think I can try. If we go slowly." Jack smiled warmly, brushing a stray strand of hair from her face. "Anna, that's all I ask. We'll go as slowly as you need." "There's no pressure, no rush. Tonight is about learning to feel safe together." He gently suggested a simple exercise. "Why don't we start with something easy? We can sit close just for now. No talking, no expectations, just being near each other." Anna nodded, feeling her pulse quicken. She moved a little closer to Jack, careful to maintain her comfort. He mirrored her movement, leaving enough space to let her feel safe. Their hands brushed occasionally, and each time, Anna felt a warmth spreading through her chest, a warmth she had never experienced before. Jack's voice broke the soft silence. "Anna, it's okay to be quiet. You don't need to say anything unless you want to. Just let yourself feel, and know that I'm here." Anna closed her eyes for a moment, letting the words sink in. Being close to Jack didn't feel scary anymore. It felt comforting. The thought made her lips curve into a small, shy smile. Slowly, she allowed herself to relax, leaning slightly toward him while keeping her hands in his. Jack suggested another gentle step. "Would you like to hold my hand with both of yours, just to feel more connected?" Anna hesitated, but then slowly placed her other hand over his. The warmth of his hand surrounding hers made her heart beat faster, but it was a good feeling, safe and reassuring. She realized that being close didn't mean she had to be perfect or brave all at once. It meant allowing someone she trusted to be near and care for her. They sat like that for a while in quiet companionship. Anna's mind wandered to the events of the day, the wedding, the smiles of friends and family, and the small, tender moments she had shared with Jack. Each memory brought a quiet happiness, mixed with a little nervous excitement for what the night could hold. After some time, Jack spoke again, his voice soft and calm. "Anna, sometimes the simplest gestures mean the most. We don't need to do anything complicated to feel close. Just holding hands, sharing a smile, and being patient with each other can be enough." Anna nodded, feeling the truth in his words. She realized that intimacy wasn't about rushing or forcing anything. It was about small gestures of care, respect, and patience. Jack's gentle approach made her feel safe enough to explore those feelings step by step. Jack suggested another exercise to help her feel even more comfortable. "Why don't we try a small game? We can take turns telling each other things we like, small things that make us happy or calm. It can be anything, a favorite color, a favorite song, or even a favorite place." Anna agreed, her voice still soft, but a little more confident. "I like the smell of fresh flowers, and I like watching the sunrise. It makes me feel peaceful." Jack smiled and nodded. "Those are beautiful. I like watching the stars at night, and I like the quiet sound of the river. It makes me feel calm too." They continued the game, sharing small details about themselves. With each word, Anna felt closer to Jack. She realized that trust wasn't just about being near someone physically. It was about sharing small parts of themselves, feeling heard and understood. Each tiny confession, each shared favorite was like a thread weaving them closer together. After a while, Jack suggested they try another gentle step. "Anna, would you like to rest your head on my shoulder? Just for a moment. You can move away anytime you want." Anna's heart fluttered at the suggestion. She nodded a little shyly and slowly rested her head on his shoulder. The warmth of his body, the steady rhythm of his breathing, and the safety she felt in his presence made her chest feel light. She realized that being close didn't have to be scary. It could be comforting and peaceful. Jack adjusted slightly so she could rest comfortably, careful to give her space and not make her feel crowded. "See, just a small step," he whispered. "You're doing wonderfully." Anna closed her eyes, letting herself fully experience the moment. The fear that had gripped her earlier seemed far away now, replaced by a feeling of trust and calm. She realized that the night didn't have to be perfect. It just had to be gentle, slow, and full of care, and Jack was teaching her that. Step by step, they spent the next hour in quiet companionship, talking softly, laughing lightly, and sharing small touches, holding hands, brushing fingertips, and leaning slightly closer. Each gesture was a lesson in patience and trust, each moment a step toward comfort and connection. Anna began to feel that she could face the rest of the night, one gentle step at a time. Jack noticed the subtle changes in her demeanor, the way she relaxed more with each small gesture, the way her eyes sparkled when she smiled, and the way her voice grew steadier. He knew that trust was being built, quietly and naturally, and he felt a deep sense of care for her. He understood that being gentle, patient, and understanding was the most important thing he could do tonight. As the fire burned lower and the night grew quieter, Anna whispered softly, "Thank you for being patient with me." Jack smiled and squeezed her hand gently. "Always, Anna, always. We'll go as slowly as you need. Tonight is just the beginning of learning to trust each other, and I'll be with you every step of the way." Anna rested her head on his shoulder again, feeling warmth, safety, and a quiet happiness she had never felt before. She realized that being close didn't have to be scary. With patience, understanding, and gentle care, trust could grow, and fear could fade. And in that quiet, candlelit cabin, Anna and Jack shared their first steps toward true closeness, not hurried or forced, but slow, careful, and full of respect. It was a beginning filled with hope, trust, and the gentle promise of a night that would become a memory of care, patience, and connection. The night grew deeper, and the soft glow of the fire filled the cabin with warmth. Outside, the wind whispered gently through the trees, and the distant hoot of an owl added a quiet rhythm to the countryside night. Inside, Anna felt her heart beating steadily, no longer in frantic anxiety, but in a rhythm of trust and calm. She sat on the edge of the bed, her hands still holding Jack's, feeling the gentle warmth of his presence beside her. Jack looked at her with a quiet smile, noticing how her posture had softened since the evening began. He didn't rush. He simply let her feel safe. "Anna," he said softly, "you're doing really well. Just being here with me and taking things slowly, that's enough." Anna nodded, her cheeks glowing with warmth. She had learned that night that trust didn't happen instantly. It was built in quiet moments, small gestures, and patient understanding. She realized that being brave didn't mean rushing through her fear. It meant allowing herself to feel it, acknowledge it, and let someone care for her. "I feel calmer now," Anna whispered, her voice soft. "I still feel nervous sometimes, but I think I can trust you." Jack's eyes softened, and he gently squeezed her hand. "Anna, that's all I want. Trust isn't something that happens overnight. It grows slowly, and tonight we're planting the first seeds. You can take as much time as you need, and I'll be here every step of the way." Encouraged by his words, Anna took a deep breath. She leaned a little closer, resting her head on his shoulder. The warmth of his body, the steady rhythm of his breathing, and the calm energy he radiated made her feel safe in a way she had never felt before. She realized that closeness didn't have to be frightening. It could be comforting and even joyful when shared with someone who cared deeply. Jack noticed the change in her demeanor, the way her hands relaxed in his, the gentle curve of her smile and the soft light in her eyes. He decided to take another gentle step, careful to maintain the trust they had built. "Anna," he said softly, "would you like to try holding each other a little closer? Just for a moment. We'll stay as comfortable as you need." Anna hesitated, her heart fluttering, but then nodded. Slowly, she moved closer, and Jack mirrored her movements. He wrapped his arm gently around her, careful to give her space and respect her comfort. Anna felt the warmth of his embrace, the steady strength of his presence, and a quiet sense of safety that made her nervousness fade. For the first time that night, Anna realized that she could truly relax. The fear that had been with her since the wedding seemed distant now. She was learning that trust and comfort could grow in small steps, in moments of quiet connection, and in gestures of care. I think I'm ready to rest a little," Anna whispered, her voice soft and filled with relief. Jack nodded, his expression gentle. "Of course. Close your eyes if you want. I'll be right here. You're safe with me." Anna closed her eyes, leaning against him, feeling the warmth of his body and the soft glow of the fire. She realized that being close to someone didn't mean she had to be perfect or brave all at once. It meant allowing herself to feel safe, to trust, and to share moments of quiet connection. Jack spoke softly, his voice like a calm river in the still night. "Anna, tonight isn't about rushing or doing anything perfectly. It's about learning to be close, about understanding each other, and about building trust. Every small step you take is important, and you're doing wonderfully." Anna felt her heart swell with gratitude. She realized that the night had already become a turning point, a moment when fear had begun to transform into trust, and nervousness had begun to become comfort. She looked up at Jack, her eyes shining with emotion. "I never thought I could feel this calm," she admitted softly. "I was so scared, but now I feel safe, and I think I can trust myself to take each step with you." Jack smiled and brushed her hair gently from her face. "That's all I hope for, Anna. Trust is a journey, and tonight we're walking the first steps together. There's no rush, no expectation, just care, patience, and understanding." Anna leaned against him again, feeling the steady rhythm of his breathing and the warmth of his embrace. The fire burned lower, casting soft shadows across the cabin, and the quiet of the night seemed to wrap around them like a protective blanket. She realized that she had never experienced anything like this before, a feeling of true comfort, of being cared for without pressure, and of learning to trust slowly and naturally. Jack suggested one more gentle exercise. "Anna, would you like to close your eyes and just feel my presence for a while? You don't have to say anything. Just let yourself feel safe and calm." Anna nodded, closing her eyes. She felt Jack's hand gently hold hers, his arm around her, and the steady warmth of his body beside her. She took a deep breath, letting the calm wash over her. The fear and nervousness that had gripped her earlier had melted into a quiet sense of peace. For the first time that night, Anna felt a deep sense of connection, not just with Jack, but with herself. She realized that trust was not about perfection or bravery. It was about allowing herself to feel, to be understood, and to accept care from someone who respected her boundaries. Jack whispered softly, "Anna, you're doing wonderfully. Each step you take is important. Tonight is just the beginning, and I'll be here to support you every step of the way." Anna's heart felt full. She rested her head on his shoulder again, closing her eyes and letting herself fully experience the moment. The night had become a turning point, a night where fear had begun to transform into trust, where nervousness had begun to blossom into comfort, and where small gestures of patience and care had created a foundation of connection that would last far beyond this evening. As the fire burned lower and the night grew stiller, Anna whispered softly, "Thank you. For being here, for being gentle, and for helping me feel safe." Jack squeezed her hand gently, his voice calm and steady. "Always, Anna. Always. You're safe with me, and we'll take everything one step at a time." And in that quiet, warm cabin, Anna felt a sense of peace she had never known before. She realized that the night was not about rushing or fearing what would come next. It was about trust, patience, and the gentle steps that brought them closer together. For Anna, that realization was the most important thing of all, and it marked the beginning of a journey filled with care, respect, and slowly blossoming love. The fire had burned low, leaving only a warm glow in the cabin. Outside, the night was calm and the stars sparkled softly in the clear sky. Anna lay back on the bed, resting her head on the pillow, her hand still held gently in Jack's. She felt a quiet sense of peace that she had never experienced before, a feeling that came from being understood, cared for, and safe. Jack sat beside her, his presence steady and warm. He noticed the relaxed expression on her face and felt a quiet happiness that she was finally able to let go of her fears. "Anna," he said softly, "you've done wonderfully tonight. I'm proud of you for trusting me, for taking each step patiently, and for letting yourself feel safe." Anna turned her eyes toward him, a small smile on her lips. "I couldn't have done it without you," she whispered. "You've been so gentle, so patient. I feel happy. I feel safe." Jack smiled, his hand brushing gently against hers. "That's all I want, Anna. Your comfort, your trust, and your happiness. We'll continue to take things slowly, together. You don't have to be afraid anymore." For a few moments they sat in quiet companionship, the warmth of the fire and the calm of the night surrounding them. Anna felt her heart swell with gratitude. She realized that this night, the first night of their marriage, was not about perfection or rushing. It was about connection, trust, and the gentle building of a bond that would grow stronger with each passing day. "I never imagined the night could feel like this," Anna admitted softly. "I was so scared. But now I feel something I can't describe. Peace, maybe. And happiness." Jack nodded, understanding completely. "That's exactly what this night is for, Anna. Not fear, not pressure, but peace, trust, and learning to be close. You've taken the first steps, and I'll be here for all the steps that follow. Every single one." Anna rested her head on his shoulder again, feeling the steady warmth of his body and the calm rhythm of his breathing. She realized that being close to someone didn't have to be overwhelming. It could be comforting, joyful, and even inspiring. She thought about all the small moments of the night, the gentle touches, the shared stories, the quiet smiles, and felt that each moment had brought them closer together in a way that was meaningful and real. Jack spoke softly, his voice like a calm river in the quiet night. "Anna, tonight was the beginning of something beautiful. A journey of trust, care, and learning. We'll continue to grow together, one gentle step at a time. And I promise, you'll always be safe with me." Anna felt her eyes fill with quiet tears, not of sadness, but of happiness. She realized how much courage it had taken to share her fears and trust someone completely. Jack's words, his patience, and his unwavering care made her feel more loved and understood than she had ever felt before. I trust you, Jack," she whispered, her voice filled with emotion. "I trust you to be patient with me, to guide me, and to care for me. I want to take each step with you." Jack smiled warmly, gently brushing a strand of hair from her face. "And I'll be here for every step, Anna, always. There's nothing more important to me than your comfort and your trust. Tonight is just the beginning, and together, we'll face everything gently and carefully." Anna closed her eyes, letting the quiet of the cabin, the warmth of the fire, and the calmness of Jack's presence wash over her. She realized that she didn't have to be afraid of the unknown anymore. Trust, patience, and love were stronger than fear, and she had experienced that truth firsthand tonight. As the hours passed, they continued to sit together, sometimes talking softly, sometimes simply enjoying the comfort of each other's presence. Every shared smile, every gentle touch, every small story told in whispers added another layer to the trust and bond they had begun to build. Anna felt that the night had become a memory she would treasure forever, a memory of patience, gentleness, and the first steps of true companionship. At one point, Jack reached over and lightly held Anna's face in his hands, his thumbs brushing softly over her cheeks. "Anna," he said softly, "I promise to always be gentle with you, to always listen, care, and guide you without pressure. We'll move forward together, step by step, and every step will be yours to take when you're ready." Anna's heart swelled. She leaned into his hands, feeling the sincerity of his promise. I believe you, Jack," she whispered, "and I want to be brave. With you, I want to trust and grow together, slowly, carefully." Jack nodded, his eyes full of warmth and love. "That's all I could ever ask for, Anna. We'll take everything slowly. Tonight we've planted the first seeds of trust, care, and love. And tomorrow and every day after, we'll continue to nurture them together." The fire had burned low, leaving only embers glowing softly in the hearth. Outside, the night was quiet, peaceful, and still. Inside, Anna and Jack sat together, their hands intertwined, their hearts connected by a bond of patience, understanding, and gentle love. Anna realized that the night had been more than she had ever imagined. It had not been perfect, but it had been real, filled with small victories, moments of trust, and the first steps toward a life shared in care and respect. She understood, now, that love was not about rushing, forcing, or being perfect. It was about being present, being gentle, and allowing trust to grow naturally. "I feel happy," Anna whispered softly, resting her head on Jack's shoulder. "Thank you for everything tonight, for being patient, for being gentle, for helping me feel safe." Jack smiled, leaning his head gently against hers. "Always, Anna. You'll always be safe with me. And together we'll continue this journey, slowly, patiently, and with care." For the first time that night, Anna truly felt at peace. The nervousness, the fear, and the uncertainty had been replaced by trust, calm, and a sense of safety. She realized that the night had been a turning point, not just for their relationship, but for her own heart. She had learned that it was okay to be vulnerable, to take small steps, and to trust someone who truly cared. As the embers glowed softly in the hearth, Anna and Jack sat together in quiet companionship. They didn't need words to describe their feelings. The comfort of each other's presence was enough. And in that warm, peaceful cabin, Anna understood that the first night of their marriage had become a memory of gentle beginnings, trust, and the promise of a future built together, step by step. And with that quiet understanding, Anna whispered one final time, "I trust you. Completely." Jack squeezed her hand softly, his voice calm and full of love. "And I will always be here, Anna. Always." And so, the night ended. Not with fear or worry, but with a promise of patience, gentle care, and a love that would continue to grow, slowly, steadily, and beautifully, together.